And thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. Lots of concern from Jamaicans right across the country and indeed in the diaspora following not one but two attacks on security guards servicing automatic teller machines. In the first incident several weeks ago, one guard was shot dead, others were wounded, and similarly several wounded in this latest attack on Sunday. And the videos had gone viral, raising, as I said, concerns about the preparedness of the guards in those situations for this kind of attack. Now, Kirk Wright, my colleague from the TVJ newsroom, spoke earlier this week with Commander George Overton, Director of Corporate Communications for the Guardsman Group, for his response to the incident.
What's the mood of your guards now in light of the incident in Portmore yesterday?
The guards are concerned, they're anxious. They're the ones facing the risk out there on the road. They want to know what we're doing. They want to know what are the authorities doing to minimize that risk that they're exposed to on a daily basis.
Are you doing anything to lessen?
We are looking at our methods of operation. There are things that we can do in the immediate future that are going to be costly. How sustainable it will come into question. But certainly we are doing some things to improve and mitigate against the risks that they're exposed to, particularly in the Portmore area and other volatile areas.
And certainly that cost will be passed on to your customers.
It ought to be.
Mm-hmm. I hear guards saying that after the first incident in Portmore, you had a vehicle. I think it's iProtect or some vehicle.
We did assign other resources to support the armored car operation. When you run the number of crews on a daily basis, how do you choose which one gets the support and how many of them can get the support? But yes, we were providing and we continue to provide that kind of surveillance and support to the crews on the road.
Was one provided to the team in Portmore yesterday?
No, it was not provided to the team in Portmore yesterday.
Any reason why?
Again, it's how you measure the risk. You can't provide it to everyone and all the time, and therefore yesterday was obviously not one that it was seen as necessary.
I'm thinking, how do you decide who gets what? The team? Is it based on the amount of money they're carrying, or what?
It's the community. What's the threat level within the operating environment? It's the exposure that we have on board the vehicle or on the pavement. And the intelligence that we may have internally or from the authorities.
But with that said though, and in light of what happened just weeks ago, one would think that you'd send a team to Portmore.
It is no Portmore, when things happen, you hope and you pray that it's a one-off. When it is now showing that, hey, there is a problem, then Portmore, and how many people would think that in Portmore, Jamaica, that is going to be considered a very high risk environment to operate in. It now is, and that's the reality of Jamaica. Places that we should think are safe are no longer safe.
Mm-hmm. And then it being a Sunday too, one would think that it's a little bit more lonely than a team.
As you saw, it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It is the hustle and bustle of Portmore. Mm-hmm. And it was yes, not as crowded as a business day, but nonetheless crowded. Mm-hmm. You saw the car park was full.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the firepower now, mm-hmm. There are lots of talk about the firepower that the security guards are carrying in relation to what these hoodlums are carrying.
Well, it's a conversation that has to be had. Are we going to enter into an arms race with the criminal element of the country? We've seen it happen with the police. The police have gone up to M16s, SLRs, all kinds of things. They're coming down to different weapons. What the soldiers use on the road is being rationalized and think, but what is it that we're going to do? To me, when you start to put M16s and other high-powered weapons into the public space with a security guard, your probability of a public shootout and lots of collateral damage is significantly more. Mm. You saw yesterday the gunmen really didn't care where they were firing at, who they were firing at, and what they were firing at. Substantial damage was done to the banking facility. They're closed today. Everywhere we go and an incident occurs, what are we going to have? M16 versus M16? We have to rationalize. And there are some things that are for the state forces, and there are some things for the private security industry.
Are you saying in short that the guards won't be getting M16s?
That's a government policy that I'm not going to speculate on. It would be nice, but I'm not going to speculate on it. And it has its own implications and complications.
Okay, so I should just say that you can participate in the program. You can WhatsApp us. Our WhatsApp number is 3810072. That's 876-3810072. Give us your first name, give us your general location. You can tweet as well. Our hashtag is TVJ All Angles. Now, Kirk also asked Commander Overton about the issue of using armored vehicles.
I've seen where security guards, I'm not sure if it's your company, use Pro Box to carry money also.
Look, there's no regulation in the country as to how money can be moved.
It's just a risk though.
It is how you manage the risk, how you mitigate against the risk, and how much money you're carrying. Are you going to buy a $23 million armored truck to move $1 million? You won't be able to pay for it. So different people resort to different methodologies at varying times. And yes, from time to time, light skin vehicles, soft skin as we call them in the industry, are used, but for lower levels of exposure.
That vehicle yesterday, was it armored?
Yes, it was. And you could see it. Whilst it was being shot up, you could see the vehicle rocking, which was the stopping of the bullets by the armorer.
How many of your guards were injured by the gunman's bullet?
The information I have is that there were 4 guards that were injured. One was not from bullet-related injuries, was obviously getting out of the way and suffered body injuries when taking cover. 3 of them were shot and received treatment at hospital.
The driver was also shot, was he?
He sustained a leg injury.
Which means that he was in the car when that happened?
Correct.
Which suggests that that part of the vehicle then...
Lower level of armoring at that.
Okay, so joining me now in studio, we have Ron Simpson, FLA-approved firearm instructor. Also with us, Captain Robert Hibbert, Operations and Training Director for Executive Solutions, and Dr. Jace Mackay with us as well, criminologist and CEO at Mackay Security Armored. Once again, just a reminder, you can participate. You can WhatsApp us 3810072. Give us your first name, your general location. We'll be back with discussion right after the break.